Now we will discuss the special requirements for caring for infants and toddlers. Equipment. A family child care home cannot use a drop-side crib or any crib manufactured before June 28, 2011. You cannot use any portable playpens manufactured prior to February 19, 2014, or any playpen that has a metal V cannot be used. You shall supply separate cribs or playpens for each infant. You shall not allow infants under 35 inches tall to sleep on any type of adult bed or sofa. You must not place pillows, stuffed animals, or blankets in an infant bed during sleep or nap times. Do not use cribs or pack-and-plays once the child has learned to climb. Please ensure that high chairs, infant swings, playpens, and cribs are in safe working condition. You must disinfect toys and play equipment used by infants and toddlers after each use. Mobile walkers, such as the one pictured, are prohibited. The use of jumpers, which can attach to doorways, are not recommended. Feeding and care. A family child care home caring for infants and toddlers shall hold any child who is unable to hold his or her own bottle during feeding. You must offer water to infants and toddlers several times a day. Ensure that infants and toddlers participate in activities outside of cribs and playpens. Place an infant, when the child is unable to turn over independently, on his or her back to sleep, unless medical documentation prohibits sleep in that position. Notice the picture. When a baby is on its back, the windpipe is on the top. If the child were to spit up, it would go back down the esophagus where it belongs. Gravity does not allow anything to travel upward into the windpipe. On the stomach, it is the opposite. Gravity pulls the liquid into the child's windpipe and they could suffocate. Diapering and toilet training. A caregiver caring for children in diapers must use a clean, non-porous surface or pad for diaper changing and must clean it after each use. Have sufficient quantities of clean diapers available and change diapers when soiled and dispose of them in a closed container. Discuss and agree with the child's parents on a schedule for toilet training. Empty and sanitize potty chairs after each use. Sleeping, bathing, and overnight care. If you are planning on keeping children overnight, you will need to follow these requirements. Overnight care. A family child care home providing overtime care must not place mats and sleeping bags directly on the floor for overnight sleeping. You must provide children with clean linens, pillows, and additional coverings as needed for comfort. The caregivers shall be awake while the children are awake and may sleep only when all children are asleep. Only during overnight care are caregivers allowed to sleep when the children are asleep. This does not apply to daytime care or nap time. You must ensure that only children of the same family and the same sex sleep together in the same bed. Bathing. When bathing a child, a caregiver must discuss the bathing arrangements with the child's parents. The caregiver will need to supervise a child under 6 years of age while bathing. Please equip bathtubs and showers with safety devices to prevent slipping and falling. Provide soap, clean water, individual washcloths and towels for each child, and thoroughly clean the tub between baths. Remember that some people have serious objections to someone bathing their child. Be sure to contact parents if a bath is required for a child that you do not normally bathe. As a family child care provider, you are a business and you will need to keep records for your business. We will discuss some of the documentation that you will need to keep. Records should be kept in an easily accessible file for inspection. To maintain confidentiality, keep a separate file folder for each child or for each family. Keep separate file folder for your records as well. A separate file for business and billing records should also be kept. A 3-ring binder is one way to store your records. If page protectors are used, use only one page per sleeve as both sides of the documentation can be viewed. A file box containing separate file folders for each child as well as your provider records is also a very good way to store records. A file cabinet is also acceptable. You are required to have parental involvement. A caregiver must maintain all completed parental forms required by West Virginia DHHR. Providers are responsible for the operation of their business, including dealing with parents' failure to return completed forms and meet other expectations. Providers have the right to terminate services if parents fail to cooperate. Also, if a subsidized client fails to return completed forms within 30 days, the provider can notify the Child Care Resource and Referral Agency immediately. The caregiver may require parents to review, and sign daily attendance sheets to document the time all children are in care. All children must be signed in and out daily, even private pay or children you provide free care for, such as a relative. Sign in and out sheets will be included in your initial package for use. You must keep records on file for 2 years. You must work with parents, school system, Birth to 3, and other providers to plan for a child's transition to other programs. Providers are required by West Virginia Code to make referrals to the West Virginia Birth to 3 if necessary. Information on this will be included in your initial packet. Providers are also encouraged, but not required, to establish written rules and policies and to share these with parents in a handbook. Your rights. A caregiver must give parents the opportunity for a pre-enrollment visit to discuss services and requirements of the family child care home, as well as the needs of the family. The caregiver must give custodial parents immediate and unlimited access to their children in care. The caregiver must release the children only to individuals listed on the parent's emergency consent form and require identification before releasing a child to someone unknown to the caregiver. Required reporting to West Virginia DHHR. A caregiver must immediately report suspected child abuse or neglect. You must immediately report to the West Virginia DHHR Child Care Regulatory Specialist any accidents resulting in emergency treatment, hospitalization, or a death of a child, and follow up with a written report within 72 hours on a form designated by the West Virginia DHHR. The caregiver must report the following within 72 hours. If an adult is added to the household, so statements of criminal record, child abuse and neglect history can be completed. If any major damage has happened to the home, or a change in the address or phone number. Next steps for after the orientation today. The application process. The application packet must be completed and returned to the West Virginia DHHR within 30 days of today's date. You will receive the initial packet in the coming days along with a return envelope and instructions upon returning your packet. Failure to return the packet will result in denial of your application. After you complete and return the paperwork to the West Virginia DHHR, you will be assigned a Child Care Regulatory Specialist who will contact you to schedule your initial home visit. You will then receive information on being fingerprinted, and you will be sent additional paperwork which you will need in operation of your family child care home. As a self-employed small business owner, it is recommended that you contact the following agencies: the West Virginia State Tax Department for information regarding how to do business taxes. You are responsible for your own withholding. You should also contact your local city, county officials to ensure that you are in compliance with all zoning, all city, county, and local taxes and fees, as well as city and county fire regulations. Child Care Resource and Referrals. If you plan to provide care for subsidized children, you will need to contact your local resource and referral agency to inquire about billing training. There are 2 slides with Child Care Resource and Referral information. This first slide is if you live in the county for Child Care Resource Center, Choices, Connect, or Link. Your information is on the screen now. If your county is not listed here, it will be on the following slide. If you are in the county for Mountain Heart North or Mountain Heart South, your information is on the screen now. This concludes the orientation presentation. Thank you for your time. You will receive your application packet in the coming days. Please be sure to return your packet to the Child Care Supervisor within 30 days of today's date. Thank you.